Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. What exactly does this pullback, this most recent crypto-wide pullback led by Bitcoin, what does it mean for XRP? Well, I'll share with you perspective from a chart analyst who warns that we could see XRP go a fair bit lower, and even lower than where it is at the time I'm recording this, which is 57 cents. Fair bit lower. But, of course, I still think, if Bitcoin rebounds from here, perhaps we don't have to worry about that type of stuff. But I want to provide some additional thoughts in perspective because this pullback we're having right now, to what degree does it actually matter? How does this rank among other pullbacks we've seen at other points in time during bull runs? I want to spend a little bit of time on that as well because there's a reason that despite this pullback and my net worth going down a lot over the last few days as the market's contracted, I'm having a grand old time. This volatility, I've been in the space for over 6 years. I just don't give a damn. I know it doesn't matter. It's just you have to expect pullbacks. When the market does something that, you have 15 years worth of history telling you, you should expect and is normal, then when that continues to happen, you shouldn't be surprised. It shouldn't hit you in the feels if you just let the data sink and be like, oh yeah, well of course that happens, especially after big moves to the upside. So I want to talk also about the opportunity because I went on a bit of a buying spree. Over the last 3 days, I've accumulated 11 new coins. And, I didn't need to. My bags have been packed, but I keep burning new money. Got to put it somewhere. Decided to put some into crypto purely because I was enticed due to a pullback. It was the combination of those things. Me earning new money, price go down. And it's like, well, okay, why not? And it's true that these coins that I purchased undoubtedly would have been better to purchase them half a year ago, but you can't buy every coin on the planet. So now that I do have new money now that I didn't have half a year ago, now I can do something with it. I didn't have this new money to do something with 6 years ago. I have earned it. So got to put it somewhere. And so with there being a pullback, to me, it just kind of makes sense. And so lots of people feeling scared and down and sad. And I'm just sitting here like, no, let's back up the truck. Are you kidding me? These are the moments where if you're interested in increasing your crypto exposure, historically, it's moments like these that are worthwhile because we don't have cycle top indicators right now. We are not there yet, folks. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here's a post from a popular chart analyst named Wrecked Crypto. 430,000 followers. 430,000 followers on social media platform X. And he shared this just earlier this evening, 6:55 p.m., and what's on your screen here is just a Bitcoin price chart in United States dollars. And when it comes to these pullbacks, when Bitcoin has a pullback, the market responds. And so if you're wondering, what does this most recent pullback actually mean for XRP and all of these other coins? Because I'm assuming that most people are like me and not, even if you hold Bitcoin and you're pro Bitcoin, you're probably not as interested in that as you are about XRP or pick your altcoin of choice because there's way more opportunity in those. It's very obvious here, but still, it's all tied together. And so here's what Wrecked Capital had to say. He's talking about Bitcoin specifically. But just keep in mind, he's talking about Bitcoin. In all of these instances that he cites, the market took a serious hit, not just Bitcoin. And so he said here, since the November 2022 bear market bottom, Bitcoin has experienced the following retraces. 23%, so negative 23%, February 2023, lasting 21 days. Then there was market got hit by 21%, so negative 21% move, April/May 2023. That lasted 63 days. And let me remind you, 2023 was a good year to be in crypto. We spent the whole year climbing up, but there are long periods of time throughout the last calendar year, 2023, where maybe you don't even recall it being like that. You just look back and you're like, yeah, this is pretty much good. But for those moments, those 63 days, people weren't necessarily having the best time. Now I was, because I'm not an idiot, but there are some people who were feeling a bit fearful, right? And so I'm just saying, like, this stuff's pretty normal. And then he said here, negative 22% July/September 2023, lasting 63 days. Negative 21%. January 2023 lasting 14 days. And then he says, this current pullback is only the 5th major retrace since the 2022 bear market bottom. All of the pullbacks experienced just over a negative 20% retracement depth. Bitcoin has pulled back negative 16% thus far. But the retrace began only last Thursday. Folks, think about that. Did you see how long these pullbacks lasted? The shortest one was January with the ETF, and the market was already really hot, though, so I'm not surprised that was the shortest one, 14 days. But the other one's 63 days, another one that was 63 days, and then one that was 21 days. So we are just several days into this, roughly. And so then he says, the current retrace has therefore barely lasted a week. In sum, there are two key takeaways about retracements in this current cycle. Number one, the closer Bitcoin gets to a negative 20% retrace, the better the opportunity becomes. Retraces need, and then number two, retraces need time to fully mature, at least 2 to 3 weeks, at most 2 months. And so, folks, we can be optimistic that there's a chance that we're through the biggest of the hit, but that's not guaranteed. We've seen pullbacks historically that have been over 30%. But if you're just looking at what's been the norm since the bear market bottom, we're fairly close to that, actually. So maybe it does go a bit lower. And so that's why, as I've been purchasing, and I'll talk more about this in a second, like I purchased for the last 3 days straight. And I'm done for now, but if we actually do see the market tank further, like say Bitcoin gets into 50,000s, like say it's like 55,000, or say it gets really close to 50,000, then I'll get really excited. I'll be like, whoa, this is a big boy in terms of pullbacks. Compared to the other ones we've seen since the bear market bottom in 2022, then yes, I will get even more ridiculous about this. Because why the hell not? I don't need it, but, I'm earning money. Gotta go somewhere. I know we're in a bull market. I'm optimistic it's going to go way higher, and so is what it is. Mind you, I'm not saying that we're going to get that opportunity, but I'm going to be having a good old time in the world of crypto if that does happen. Here's a post from chart analyst Jelly. Said, and if you do want to buy the dip, be sure to not buy too much too quickly. These things take time to unfold. Buying shortly after the bottom instead of trying to buy the exact bottom generally works best. Yeah, so nobody's going to be able to actually hit the bottom, so I think it's kind of a fool's errand. It's more like when you see a major capitulation event, if you're in the market to accumulate more, historically those have been good times. So I'm not telling you to buy or not buy, do whatever you want. I'm just saying that's my belief based on what we've seen. We got 15 years worth of data that I say pretty well proves this. And that's also why I said a second ago, if the market tanks further, I'll not be scared. I don't care what it means for XRP price. Maybe it gets into 50 cents. God forbid it gets in the 40-something cent region. Oh my God, the world's over. I will not be crying. That will do nothing to make my confidence waver because I know it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with fundamentals. It's just scared people speculating. Humans, like people gonna people. This is just how people behave when it comes to investing. I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be having a good old time. And then that's also why, though, since you don't know where the bottom is, like I said, maybe some of my capital never gets deployed if this is more or less it. Like if it goes down just a little bit lower, I might not be enticed to buy more. If it goes a fair bit lower, then yeah, I'll deploy capital. But if not, then it doesn't happen. And there have been moments like that in the past. I actually had, I haven't talked about this in years because it hasn't been relevant, but even when it comes to XRP, so I haven't purchased XRP since October 2020. And it's still by far my largest individual crypto holding. And I actually had, I had a stretch goal. Like I actually hit separate stretch goals. I can't remember how many at this point because too many years have passed. But I set one final stretch goal that would have got me to a really cool mark, and I never got it. I never got the damn thing because it started moving up. But that's okay. I already hit multiple stretch goals, so it was really. I'm very thrilled with the side of my XRP position for sure. But there was one final one right there, and so there have been moments in the past where I'm like, well, I just got to be sufficiently enticed if I'm going to hit extra goals here. So that's why I'm kind of looking at like, well, if the market tanks further, then yeah. But I got to be enticed to actually make the purchase here. And so I shared this post it's several hours ago, whatever it was. talking about how I've been behaving, because again, I know a lot of people afraid, worried, what's happened with my XRP, which we'll talk more about in just a second here, but it does not make logical sense to be fearful here. It just doesn't. You know, if you're fearful, either you're new or you're overexposed or who knows. And sometimes, even if you're not new, it's okay. Like, people still get afraid, but sometimes you just need a reminder, like, this is normal. Like, the stuff here is normal. And I happen to be pretty good at managing emotions on this, thankfully. I haven't been scared about crypto price action since August of 2018. So I know what it feels like. I've been through it, but that's when I was newer to crypto. I'd been in crypto for less than a year. That was the last moment I ever experienced it. I remember, I've talked about that story. I happened to be in San Francisco on a trip. I saw XRP price get down to 25 cents. You know, I'd been dollar cost averaging from 55 cents. I'm losing all this money. I felt fearful. And then I just let the logic kick in. I just did it, and then for some reason, I didn't know that would be the last moment I ever felt fear because of regular volatility in the markets. It was, though. And ever since then, I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And I've been in this too long, and I believe what I believe so strongly that, no, it just doesn't hit me anymore. It just doesn't. And so here's what I wrote. I bought 11 cryptocurrencies over the past 3 days since the market is down. All stuff I had not purchased before. If the market goes lower, I'll buy more stuff. And so I'll pause to note here, before these purchases in the last few days, I was already holding, I think, close to 30 different cryptocurrencies. I'm going to have to actually count at some point. But with this addition, I now hold close to 40 different cryptocurrencies, actually, which is more than you necessarily need to have life-changing wealth. But whatever, broader exposure, I don't give a damn. And I'm not, it's also to be clear, like, what I just purchased, I'm not even counting on this for my life-changing wealth. It's the cherry on top. If it works, it works. If I lose everything, so be it. I'm good. I'm just not worried about it. I'm really not. Now, in all likelihood, with where we are at in the market, I think that what I just bought, because it's crypto stuff, it's likely to go up. Once the market rebounds, that would be my guess. But I also wrote, I didn't need to top off my bags or create new positions, but I keep earning new money that has to go somewhere, and a pullback of this degree seems like a pretty good place to buy. I went a bit further out on the risk curve than I thought I would, but nothing crazy. I didn't purchase any meme coins. I'm basically just increasing my exposure to the asset class in a segment of the market that I didn't have much exposure to prior to this buying spree. It's a little riskier, but since these are lower cap coins, the rewards in theory could be desirable from a multiplier perspective. And I've talked about this before, the further you, let's just word it like this, the lower you get in terms of market cap ranking, that's the market telling you these coins are viewed, broadly speaking, to be more risky. That's why they're not at the top with, Bitcoin and ETH and XRP. That's just how it is. Now, since there's less money in them, if they are going to go up, those coins in lower market cap, there's a very good chance, actually, if they're going to continue to go up anyway, but nobody knows for sure. There's risk here. If they do, especially if they're hitting new all-time highs compared to previous cycles, if they've been around long enough to do so anyway, there's a good chance that those coins will just crush the large cap coins, even in the top 10, even including XRP. And mind you, I think XRP is going to melt faces. I'm fully counting on that. It's my largest holding for good reason. I'm just noting if there's less money in a coin, and if it is going to take off, then yeah, of course, it doesn't take as much money flowing in to get a crazy multiplier effect. That's all that is. That's all that I'm saying. And so these coins that I purchased, because mind you, I need to make sure everybody's aware of this too, or else what I'm going to say is not going to be meaningful at all. I'm lame when it comes to investing in crypto, because I want fairly broad exposure, which I had even prior to this, I would say, but I've always wanted large and mid-cap coins, basically. The larger, the better in my mind, because even with the larger cap coins, there's almost no money in them. So you can still get some serious upside. It's not the same as if you're investing in large caps in the stock market, which would be much more boring. In terms of return, it's not going to be that impressive. But when you're talking about large caps in crypto, there's almost no money in them. This is a tiny asset class. And so I thought, I'm taking a ton of risk off the table, but if I'm right about the asset class, there's going to be way more money flowing in over time. And so to me, this seems closer to like being the sweet spot. So that's been my thinking the whole time I've been in this. Because I think too many people screw themselves over playing with fire, getting into this stuff. And nothing against that. Like, I'm not trying to insult the people that are buying the meme coins. I'm sure lots of you listening have at least dabbled in that. But for me, I've just not had interest in going down that particular route because I know that most people get burned. Like, most people are not. So for every person that makes a bunch of money off of a meme coin, what's it, like a dozen or a couple dozen more that just got completely screwed on the whole situation, didn't do so hot? It's not most people doing well. And then the pumps, my God, and there's so little liquidity for many of these. It's not my jam. If it's your jam, that's fine. Do what you want to do. For me, I'm just saying it makes more sense to just be satisfied with the life-changing wealth that can come even from large and mid caps. Because you fast forward a couple decades, trying to get life-changing wealth from a large cap and perhaps even a mid cap, that might not be a thing anymore. You know? So I'm appreciative that a large cap and a mid cap reasonably can be expected to offer some returns that are life-changing, truly meaningful, including XRP. So what I did here was, given that many of my coins are in the top 10, top 20, let's say just top 100 in terms of market cap, with a ton of them being towards, think about what I've talked about that I hold. Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Cardano, HBAR, and there are a bunch of others, but I'm just trying to make the point that a ton of what I hold and the core positions where I did research and I have the most conviction in, those are the ones. And so when I made this purchase, it's not because I have strong conviction about these particular coins. It's more like I'm making a bet based on historic precedent that the asset class moves in better, and I just don't give a damn. That's pretty much it. I did surface level research, and that's pretty much it. But I just thought, okay, I've mostly got coins in the top 100. Let's just get a little bit outside that. So a lot of what I purchased, and I'll show you in a second what it was in case anybody cares, but a lot of them are ranked between number 100 and 200 in terms of market cap. I know at least one of them was ranked when I bought it. I guess it was today, actually, way in the AM. I think it was ranked like 463. So for me, that's way out the risk curve. For me. Now, for lots of other people, they're buying coin rank number 20,000, okay? I'm not messing with that. I don't have interest. So I went a little further out. And for some of you, you're like, yeah, I've been there the whole time I've been in crypto. And if so, that's fine. We've all got our own preferences. I'm just telling you what mine is and what my thinking is on this. But I went a little further out. We'll just see what happens. But I think that this is a good time to buy. I think the market's going to come back. And probably a lot of them. Even if just like a couple of them work out, like say one or two, I'll probably make my money back. And I did put like a serious amount of money, I would say, into it. So even just one or two come back to some reason and really take off. Okay, well, probably more than make my money back. So, understanding historically where we are likely to be at in this market cycle, I'm not really worried about it. And so then I wrapped up my post by saying, if I lose everything I invested these past few days, so be it. But I don't think the market top for this cycle is staring us in the face. My suspicion is the biggest mania phase hasn't started yet. But I think it's coming, and I expect it to be short-lived. I'm more than ready for it. Yeah, so when the fireworks come, the grand finale, it's fun, but it doesn't last long. We are not there yet. And so somebody named Zeolwolf, maybe that's how it's pronounced, asked me, what were your coins of choice that you didn't have as much exposure to before? And so I shared them. I don't need to read them. They're on your screen if you want to check them out there. And to be clear, this is not some sort of invitation to copy me. I did surface level research. It was more about just having broader exposure to a segment of the asset class that's a little further out on the risk curve. I think it's going to move in tandem because historically it has. That's pretty much it. There's really nothing more to it than that. We're going to see what the hell happens. And if it doesn't work out for me, I don't care. I don't need this to get my life-changing wealth. My crypto bags before this, even though I put some real money into this stuff for the hell of it, these, some people might say S-word coins, I'm good. My bags are already packed. But again, making more money, market goes down. Yeah, why the hell not? Why the hell not? And it's not the same quite as gambling because I've been in this 6 years and I know I understand roughly where we're at. I don't need to be a chart analyst to understand where we are in this market cycle in all likelihood. And to also understand that the asset class moves in tandem. not the least bit afraid of this. So we'll see what happens. Now, as far as XRP specifically, I do want to share with you perspective from chart analyst E. Greg Crypto, and I'll make this chart full screen here, warning that it is possible XRP could go lower. Now, to be clear, even if this happens, and he's spoken about this enough that I know his thoughts on this, it's not going to change his conviction. In terms of what XRP is going to do, hitting a new all-time high, blasting into price discovery, even if we see these moves to the downside, which might sound scary or intimidating on the surface, might make some people feel like throwing in the towel. But to me, it's just like, no, that doesn't make sense. It's not what it does for me. And we don't even know for sure if it's going to dip to that. But here's what E. Greg Crypto had to say. This is an XRP USD price chart. And he said, XRP Bulls next task update. XRP just experienced 8 wicks below Fib 382 in this 4-hour candle. What's next? XRP has now had 8 wicks below Fib 382 in this 4-hour candle. This might be the first 4-hour candle to close below Fib 382, potentially leading to more downward pressure towards 53 cents to 55 cents. Stay, XRP Army, stay steady. Ignore the fluctuations of 5 cents down and 10 cents up. Anything below $1 is a lifetime opportunity. And so I absolutely agree with the sentiment. I think, if we're right about this, and I have the conviction I have, time will prove if my conviction is rightly placed or not. I don't technically know for sure. And, I can appreciate the people that say, I have zero doubt. Because I understand that what they're really doing is displaying confidence, and most don't literally have no doubt. If you have no doubt, then you might be irrational. But if you're just saying it as a display of conviction, I can respect that. I have a little bit of doubt, but I have very strong conviction. XRP, yeah. It is what it is. And so I have this feeling that when we look back a decade or two in the future at these prices of XRP below $1, and you tell people 20 years from now you bought XRP when it was like, 2 XRP for $1, they're going to look at you like, what? You had that? They're going to go, how much XRP did you have? Just like, early Bitcoiners, right? When it was easier to get like hundreds of Bitcoin, back in the early days, thousands of Bitcoin. It's going to be the same thing. And so my conviction leads me to suspect that that's the future that we'll be looking at. It's just that nobody technically knows for sure, but yeah, that's why this, 5 cents down, 10 cents up as he worded it here. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything big picture. Either we're right or we're wrong. And all of the oscillations in between over the span of years, it doesn't mean anything. None of the movements over the last, however, pick your number of years, 3, 4, 5, 6 years even at this point. None of it's mattered because one of two things will happen. Either XRP goes to zero or it hits a new all-time high. One of those things is definitely going to happen. Neither of those things has happened. So what has happened in the meantime, it's regular volatility outside of course, the SEC coming in and messing things up and changing what humans would have done in terms of investing in XRP last market cycle. But setting that aside, again, it hasn't gone to zero. It hasn't hit a new all-time high. I'm waiting to see which it is. My bet is that what's most probable is new all-time high. And what happens in the meantime, though it scares people, makes people feel unsettled, it won't matter in the end. Either we are right or we are wrong. But the price action in between, in and of itself, is not an indicator of us being right or wrong. It's just happening because it's people just bouncing off one another. Like they're mosh pitting, right? Like the Utes do. Do the Utes still do that? I don't know. I'm 40. But that's it. That's it. It doesn't matter. So I'm having a great time. I topped off my bags. It's fun. And by the way, like, as I've done it over the last few days, I'm down on like all of these positions because you don't buy the bottom. Like when you buy something, you shouldn't assume that it's never going to be lower in the future than when you purchased it. You should never assume that because it won't be true. At some point, it's going to be, even if just a little bit lower because you're in a bull cycle, it's going to go lower. And so I'm in this. I don't know where the bottom is for this portion of the market cycle, this little correction here. So I'm down on this stuff, but my conviction is that we are not near the top yet. So I think that this stuff is, by and large, going to rebound pretty substantially here. But yeah, you can't let the day-to-day stuff bother you. And you can't time the bottom, so you can't worry about buying something and then seeing it go down. But people have such a hard time with it because they work hard for their money. And if you put in what is a lot to you, then when you see it go down, it scares you. I get that. But that's why it's so hard for people to achieve life-changing wealth in crypto investing. Because of the emotions. You are your own worst enemy when it comes to investing, period. That is unquestionably true. This stuff ain't free. And so some people, when it's all said and done, and we actually do have our crypto life-changing wealth, some people will tell you that you were lucky, but if you went through it, you'll know that it wasn't luck. It was mental and intestinal fortitude. That's for damn sure. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.